Yeah, when you got anywhere along here, you got first metatarsal pain, you may indeed have a problem at this joint, but oftentimes you have it up more proximally. So you have to make sure that you keep an eye on the entire kinetic chain. It could be anywhere in the midfoot, it could be deeper in the ankle, it could be fibula, it could be the tibia, or somewhere in the knee up here, even the femur, just depending on where it is. You have to just check it all. So it's not always at the point of pain. But classic management of the foot is to start, you can start analyzing the metatarsal heads, and that's a simple come up from underneath. Don't pull, but you're actually coming up like this. And she's actually got pretty good mobility rate there. Even, and if it is more of a bunion appearance, a lot of times this is way too tender. This is not a preferable adjustment for those. It's too, it lights them up too much. So, you know, she's got a pretty strong arch. She's got a pretty strong, you know, ability to point her toes almost too much. So that might clue me in that there may be a talus issue. Maybe not, we'll see. But we'll just kind of work our way through here. And I'm going to check this proximal metatarsal where it joins up here. And what to do is you put your pisiform on this. The toe, the big toe is away from me. And I'm gonna curl in with my pisiform. My thumb is this way. I'm gonna cup the heel and I'm going to push this way with my pisiform. Like a lot of adjustments, you're going to load it in and take the slack out and set it over, just like that. And that moved quite well, actually. A big cavitation. So sometimes that's the money. It's right there. That's all it is. But we'll just check everything up here. It's good to check you can kind of motion palpate the navicular. It should have an easy, smooth movement there. The cuneiforms should have some smoothness to them. They're not too bad. They're a little fixated, but they're kind of arched up really high fixated. So that tells me there may be more going on up higher here. I like looking at the cuboid. The cuboid most often subluxates kind of a posterior and lateral up here. That's the most common subluxation for that. And that should, as you push in here, should give you some release. It should there, but this just blocks. It's like it's not doing anything. So to adjust that, I'm going to stick my thumb in there on the top hand, and I'm going to back that up with my thenar, and I'm going to be stable with the whole chain here. I'm not just going to come down here and give her a whack. You know, I'm going to make sure that she can tolerate the tug, but I'm going to tug pretty firmly and come in real quick like this. They're going to both come in together. So get a good solid contact. Come in and hang in there. Hang on to the table. There you go. And well, not quite. That's pretty fixated. And we're having a hard time. I'm actually pulling hard enough and she doesn't weigh much, so I'm pulling her right off the table. So we have to, actually you've got some grip to your pants there. Why don't you put the grip on your pants? Because I think this needs to actually set a little bit. So in my mind too, instead of less tug, I need to do more torque this way. That would probably be a little bit better technique anyways. You have to kind of teach yourself what works. It's not kind of being a good student yourself when you're working on it. So I'm going to do a little more of this with a little less tug. There we go. That moved a ton. That was great. So again, I had to teach myself what worked there. And tender, but we got tons of flex there now that we didn't have before. So another one to check is the talus itself. And I like to check it's not always a talus that comes up and out this way. Sometimes it's just up. Sometimes it's up and medial, which is a little odd, but Hers isn't too bad. I like sometimes to check the tibia in here. Pretty sore on that.
That's sore right there, yeah. And when I like point my toes, that gets kind of sore up there.
I don't think it's so much the talus. It may be. You see, that's real sore. Yeah, that's her tibia right there. So I'm going to actually try to adjust this talotibial joint. You kind of get the choice of, you know, should I set the talus in there, or can I set the tibia in there? I think today we're going to work on the tibia. You can work on the talus a handful of times, and then you reach a point where it doesn't need to move, and then sometimes you got to work on the tibia too. So the next visit. So we're gonna try that. To do that, you got to stabilize down here, get your contact right. I use my Piezoform. I'm gonna come in right on. I'm trying to match where I found all the fixation. It wasn't over here. It was right in. That doesn't close very well right here at all, right on this side. So I'm gonna come in right here. I'm gonna get myself in position so I'm not using just my hands. I'm gonna lean in with my body, and a little bit better. That doesn't need to go a whole lot there. The movement's better. Let's try the other hand here. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad. It's got better movement. Check the calcaneus. Hers isn't too bad. We've got a little fixation. Most of the time your calcaneus will subluxate down and out. If this is the calcaneus, it'll subluxate that way. So you have to put it in this way. This is a little like the cuboid adjustment. It'll look almost identical, except my thumb will be over on the calcaneus. You got to get way up high on it. And you have to traction to get anything. But just like we were struggling with the cuboid, I can pull it right off the table with traction. I have to have enough this way too, but you need both. This, I always tell patients, gosh, this is probably the most force I use on anything. The calcaneus takes a lot of beating every step you take. So it takes a lot to traction it, to move it. And there we go. That actually moved a little bit.
And you've worked on this knee some, Parker, and my knee's actually been feeling a lot better.
Good.
Like,
Good.
I've been cycling and not.
So I'm checking the distal fibula, pulling it up, pushing it down. It should kind of have a little bit of subtle movement to it, and hers does. I don't feel too much like that's a big deal. Sometimes it's stuck in one direction or the other. Usually it's stuck towards the back, and you need to, I'm gonna grab my Piezoform and come up this way. But I'm gonna go up, check her knee just for fun. Maybe slide out just a touch. I like doing this, putting the knee on my knee, reaching around, checking. Got my thumb in on the meniscus there, here. Not too bad. You can check for rotation. Not too bad. Got a little bit going on here. She could say that's a little tender. I'm going to check the posteriority of the tibia. This is kind of a check and a correction at the same time. Like to use the leg as a pump handle, and I'm going to come in real strong this way. Yeah, there's not much there. That's good. Sometimes that'll just give you just a tiny relief and a release, and then that's all there is. But let's just bump this tibia here. It moves really easy this way, not as well that way, so it's already probably a touch anterior, but mostly just EX. Make sure when you do this, you got to grab your Piezoform on the meniscus itself. Don't be down on the tibia only. You got to grab the meniscus too, otherwise it just won't work so well. So I'm coming off the femur, and we're going to just grab down here kind of supportively. I'm going to load in and with my, it's not an arm push as much as it's I'm going to load in with my body, and yeah, that's in there pretty good. But that moves better. That's good. We've worked on this before, so I'm not anticipating a big, juicy, audible release. Sometimes all you need to do is just squeeze the meniscus over, and that's all it does. That's all it needs. So, but that's a lot more free, just that little bit. So, good. That's good for that foot.
Perfect. Thanks, Brad.